Welcome back. I'm your host, Katie Wilson, and I am joined here today by the extremely talented Annalee Newitz, here to talk about your new book.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. I'm really excited to get the chance to talk with you today.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your book, Autonomous. Talk a little bit about, let's catch everyone up. What is it about? And let's just dive right on into it.
Well, it's your basic robots versus pirates story. So it's about a pirate. It's about 125 years in the future, and she's a pharmaceutical pirate, which means she's reverse engineering drugs manufactured by companies that are charging exorbitant rates for them, and then she's manufacturing her own versions to sell to poor people or just to give to people who need it. So she's on kind of a Robin Hood mission, but she screws up, she gets caught for doing something bad, and so racing after her to stop her are a freshly born robot who has a lot of feelings and thoughts, and that robot's human partner. And so the book sort of goes back and forth between the perspective of the robot chasing the pirate and the pirate trying to get the heck away and survive.
Wow, that's incredible. How did you come up with this? What was the creating process like?
It started with the robot, and I've always wanted to write a story from the perspective of a robot that is born sort of fully adult, but without any understanding of human social interactions. And so the robot is just trying to figure out, why are humans doing what they're doing? Why are they kissing? Why are they doing all the weird things that humans do? But then I quickly, I think partly because of what's happening with healthcare in this country, I was really anxious about it. A lot of my friends are anxious about it. And I was like, what kind of hero can save us from expensive pharmaceuticals? Okay, we need a pirate who can come in and bring us free drugs the way Robin Hood would if she or he were here today. And so that's what my pirate is doing.
Yeah, I noticed that this novel draws a lot of parallels with present-day society and issues that we have going on, like you said, healthcare. But what are some of the other things that went into it as well?
I was thinking a lot about property rights in this book, because part of the issue is that people can't get drugs because companies own the intellectual property on those drugs, and so they can jack up the rates. But this is a book that's also about slavery, because this is a world where robots are owned. There's a rule that a company or a person manufacturing a robot, in order to recoup the cost of making that robot, is allowed to have them as an indentured servant for up to 10 years. And through a series of legal maneuvers, corporate lawyers have figured out how to turn those laws around back onto humans. So now humans can also be indentured in this world, which is just a nice way of saying being enslaved.
Yeah.
It's just sort of the word you'd use if you were trying to be euphemistic about slavery. And so I'm very much grappling with the legacy of slavery, with the future of slavery, and sort of how slavery persists into our world now. And so that's kind of, we have characters who are human and robots who are slaves. One of them is an escaped slave, and they're kind of just dealing with, what does it mean to have been property? So there's a lot of difficult issues, but there's also a lot of fun chase scenes. There's a romance that's a kind of problematic romance, but it's there. A lot of romances are problematic. So.
How long did it take you to write this? Because you've been writing for a while, but this is your first novel, if I'm right.
That's right. I'm a science journalist, so I've been writing nonfiction about science and technology for a really long time. And I decided to start writing a novel about 6 years ago. And it was one of those things where I wrote it, and then I put it in a drawer, and I was like, okay, maybe one day this will be good. And then I was approached by Tor, my publisher, and they said, well, do you have anything? I was like, well, I have this thing on a thumb drive. It actually was a SYFY thumb drive, I have to say.
No way.
That I had gotten. I sort of was a joke to myself, because I was like, look, I have some sci-fi on my SYFY drive that was sitting on my bookshelf. And so I took it out, and it took me about maybe 8 or 9 months to revise it to be, something that humans would want to look at.
Yeah,
or robots.
Yeah, or robots, yeah, exactly. This has been a work in progress then for a while, at least from the idea and the conception of it to...
Yeah, and I took time off to write a nonfiction book in the middle, which was a science book about mass extinction. So, you know, just a light topic.
Just, you know, your casual...
Yeah, exactly. Robots and pirates or mass extinction. And I like to, in my writing, I'd like to kind of switch back and forth between doing nonfiction and fiction, because I find that reading about real-life science really inspires my science fiction. So that was really fun to get to kind of pull back, talk about something else, and then come back to my robot and my pirate. So.